Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for Hakuouki Kyoto Winds. Now, I have some news for you because, alright, the way this game was originally released in Japan was that they released it in two halves of the game, and my initial impression was that the game was, one of them included Nagakura, Sanin, and Yamazaki, and the other game had the three new guys. But now I'm hearing that they split it down the middle instead, like the part where everybody starts wearing Western clothing, that they split the game there. Yeah, we have all 12 guys are available, but they break the game in the middle, so we actually aren't going to get any endings at all. The game is just going to stop right in the middle. So, yeah, if you want to hear the endings for the main guys that came out in Demon of the Fleeting Blossom, you're better off going there probably. Because anybody's recording that you watch, it's not going to have the endings. This really sucks. But hopefully they won't take too long to come out with the next game. Alright, well anyway, let's continue on with this. Shinsengumi's supposed to be letting us help them find my father, but we've pretty much been confined to this room. Well, let's go. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Just when it felt like I'd made some progress into my journey, my search was kept to a halt. Perhaps I thought I could talk to Hijikata if he would give me permission to look for my father. Oh no, that's right. Hijikata just recently departed to Osaka. Well, if Hijikata's not here, I wasn't sure what to do. I must stay put like a good girl. To be completely honest, staying in the room was awfully boring. No, considering your predicament, you need to follow Hijikata's orders, Chizuru. I didn't want to cause a disturbance on top of what I'd done. The consequences would be... What am I doing here? A forlorn malaise wafted over me. The room was nice, of course, but also practically empty. I wasn't uncomfortable, I suppose, but not comfortable either. And nothing past the time. Why can't they just bring me some books or something? Here I thought I'd gotten used to doing nothing. My father's business required him to take trips frequently, sometimes for days at a time, and so I'd spent a good deal of time home on my own. This isn't quite the same, though. Back then, I always knew he'd be back eventually. Waiting for someone you knew would return and waiting for what you didn't quite know are two very different things. When will I be able to start looking for father again, I wonder? My reflections all manifest into sighs eventually. Somebody gonna hear me sighing out there?
Yukimura, I've been looking for you. I didn't think you'd be here.
Where did you think I would be? I'm not allowed anywhere else. Kondo smiled brilliantly at me as he stepped into the room, holding a tray in his hands. I'm sorry? I wasn't sure what to make of his words, so instead I silently bowed.
Wait a moment. Is this your room?
For now, yes.
Oh, no. Then I barged into a woman's room without announcing myself.
Oh no, it's fine. After all, it isn't as though there's anything here I wouldn't want you to see.
Ugh. We decided you would be Toshi's page, so I'd assumed your room would be next to his.
If only I had been so lucky. Hijikata had, of course, failed to tell Kondo that I had yet to be made a page. I wasn't surprised. It wasn't too hard to see what was going on. I'm not really prepared to entertain, but you're welcome to come in if you'd like.
There's no need to worry. If I may, I'll take you up on your offer. You needn't feel nervous around me. While you're here, you're a guest of the Shinsengumi.
I feel more like a prisoner at the moment. Then he placed the tray on the floor between us. This is... As I looked down at the tray, I could barely stifle a sudden squeal of excitement.
You are a fan of sweets, I take it. I found some of these in the cupboard, so I bought them here for you.
Well, aren't you a sweetheart, Kondo? On the plate, he'd arranged several colorful candies and a cup of warm green tea.
So what do you think? If you'd like to have some, go ahead. No need to hold back.
Thank you very much. I cautiously reached to take one of the candies. It's delicious. It had been a while since I had any sweets. Something about the small, colorful candies seemed so adorable that I couldn't help but smile.
Oh, I'm glad you like them.
Kondo possessed a warming presence that made me feel safe as he watched me eat.
Oh, yes. I've heard you haven't been allowed to go outside.
It's true, but it seems better to know my place. Rushing things would only make more trouble. So just as Hijikata suggested, I plan on waiting it out just a little more.
I see. I'm glad you understand. I know Toshi seems a little rough on the edges, but I promise you he is a truly caring man.
Hijikata... caring? Wow, I had no idea! But really, I could see that actually, even before I played it the first time. Kondo's view of Hijikata seemed so at odds with my own personal experience with him. Of course, though, Kondo is intimately familiar with him, I'm sure, so perhaps there's no way of knowing who this man really is. Wow, I had no idea.
It's understandable. Those who don't know him often share a similar opinion. But Toshi may have his reasons as to why now is not the best time for you to leave the compound. You're bored, I know, but I have to ask you to hang on a little longer.
Okay, I understand. He hadn't done much, to be honest, but Kondo's visit had cheered me up greatly. Of course, the conditions of staying in my room were left unchanged. However, the creature comforts of spending an afternoon drinking warm tea gave me some life. Time stood still, shadows drifting along my wall. How long am I going to do this? Solitude was proving detrimental to any glimmer of hope. My heart felt heavier with each movement. How lonely the wistful, forlorn mind can become. I've been swept up in a frightening world I didn't understand and couldn't possibly control. I can't possibly figure out what's happening to Father if I'm stuck here. Only Hijikata can give me permission to leave, and he's gone. All I could do was wait. Lamenting things I couldn't change wouldn't improve my situation, and would arguably make it worse. I knew I couldn't trust the men of the Shinsengumi completely. They were, after all, men who could take life in the blink of an eye. It could be just as easy for them to end my life. Well, at least they've all been nice to me, for now. They're nice men deep down, right?
Does anyone ever call you gullible?
You? Ah! What are you doing here? And was I talking out loud again?
Oh, you didn't notice me? Well, it's my turn to keep watch.
Did you hear everything I said? Why do the heroines always think out loud? He'd heard me. He had definitely heard me. I wanted to scream, but before I could open my mouth, Saito stepped out from behind the door.
I think that's enough fraternizing, Soji.
Wait, were you here the whole time too?
I arrived only moments ago.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm sorry for screaming like that.
It's nothing, and at any rate, it's not as if you said anything that would cause trouble for you.
So he did hear. Ah! True, I didn't say anything, bad, but still. Well, I was just embarrassed to be caught talking to myself. As Saito watched me fidgeting and mumbling, his eyes pierced right through me. Apparently, he doesn't think it's cute.
I came to tell you the dinner is ready, but have I interrupted something?
You interrupted my conversation with myself. Oh no, nothing at all.
I had intended to wait until you and Soji finished your discussion, but I figured if I left the two of you alone, it would be longer before I saw either of you, so I came in.
Saito shrugged shortly before we caught the sound of footsteps approaching us noisily. Heisuke shot through the door. The moment he saw us, however, his face fell. Hey guys, dinner time!
My apologies, Heisuke. I'll be there presently.
Yeah, you too, Chizuru. Hurry up, or it's gonna be gone before you know it.
Sorry, Toto. I'll be there as soon as I can. He turned to leave, but he halted in his tracks. He pursed his small lips together before speaking.
Look, can you drop the whole Toto thing? Just call me Heisuke. Everybody else does.
Are you sure?
Yeah, why not? We're practically the same age. Oh, and we don't need to use honorifics.
Alright, I'll do that then, Heisuke.
Great. Sounds better already. Shall we go?
You're late. You kids are late. Who's going to answer to my crying stomach?
You mean growling, Shin? Really, he's so simple sometimes.
You guys ought to apologize to my stomach. He wanted to dig in, but I said, no, we've got to wait for him.
Aw, how considerate you are, opposing your stomach like that.
You're such a softy, Shin. Alright guys, it's time to eat. And that means every man for himself.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Man, there's barely enough here to feed a kid, let alone a man, so I'll just have to take yours. Survival of the fittest. This food is mine.
Gotta love the dinner battles.
Hey, why do you always steal my food?
It's because of the difference in size, kid. I got a bigger body. That means I need more food.
Well, I'm still growing, old man, so I gotta eat more too.
Sorry you had to see this, Chizuru. They're always like this.
I've, gotten used to it.
How are we to deal with accepting such insanity?
Oh, why aren't you taking anything?
Yeah, I'm good. If I eat too much, I slow down. Hey, what do you mean slow? Oh, whatever. I'm taking that. Go for it. So long as I got a little sake to sip, I'm good.
Sake is not dinner.
Sounds like I'm going with sake too.
What, did Shin steal your dinner as well?
Try not to worry about eating too much or being a freeloader or something, Chizuru. Just eat your little heart out, okay?
Wink wink, nudge nudge, hint hint. I know. I can't help but feel a little bad, though. I think that was his intention.
Well, if you let that get to you, you're going to lose. You have to protect what's yours.
Okay. So Chizuru has to battle for her dinner, too? Always eating alone made the experience of dinner with these men both an exhilarating and a frightening evening for me. It was actually fun.
See, there's that smile. You ought to do that more often. We aren't going to hurt you.
I remember in the original game they made it a bigger deal about her being brought here for dinner, because she wasn't supposed to leave her room yet, but they decided to bring her here because she was kind of depressed and stuck in her room all the time. Harada. His mouth curled up into an honest smile of his own. Had I really looked so down? Perhaps they were all trying to cheer me up. I wasn't quite sure how to feel. Feel honored. I was conflicted over whether or not to feel pity for myself or to appreciate the moment for what it was. The joy seemed to be winning out, however, and I caught myself smiling as Inoue entered the room.
Gentlemen, do you have a moment?
As usual, his voice was warm, but in his eyes was a level of solemnity I've never seen before, at least during our brief acquaintance thus far. The warmth of the room slowly evaporated.
I've just received word from Osaka. Sanin has been gravely injured in battle.
What?
What happened? A dry goods store in Osaka was invaded by a group of Ronin. Toshi and Sanin arrived in time to enter the fray and subdue the Ronin. However, Sanin was stabbed during the encounter.
Is he going to be all right?
According to the letter, he is gravely hurt, but the wound is on his left arm. It will be hard for him to wield a blade, but he will almost certainly survive.
Oh, thank goodness. I exhaled as a brief sigh of relief, but the rest of the room was tense, still itching for answers.
He should be returning here in a few days. Now please excuse me. I must speak with Kondo.
He turned as he spoke, his last words delivered over his shoulder, and he was gone. It was Saito who soon broke the awkward silence.
An injury so grave he cannot clutch his sword. Perhaps the wound severed an artery. To wield a blade with one arm is a disservice. He may never carry a blade again if it's true.
Oh. At last I understood.
Fighting with a single hand would mean less strength behind his blows. Against an opponent of similar skill, he would almost certainly lose. If push comes to shove, we'll have to take it. I don't think Sun is just going to give up. Don't jinx him, Soji. It's going to look bad if officers start joining the Furies.
Huh? You're not supposed to be talking about that in front of me. Wait, that didn't make any sense. What are the Furies? Oh my god.
Oh, so Furies come from something you drink, wherein injuries could be cured.
Heisuke!
Huh? Before I could move, Harada was on his feet and halfway across the room. I barely had time to gasp before he drove his fist into Heisuke.
Ow!
Heisuke, you fool! Heisuke, are you alright?
Sano, you're overreacting.
No, he's not. Heisuke's gonna get me killed.
Well, that was my bad, Heisuke. I slipped first. You alright? Sorry.
After a moment, Harada curtly nodded to Heisuke in apology, the latter offering a quick pained smile.
Nah, I should have been watching what I said. Still, Sano, you didn't have to hit me.
His punch had enough force to knock out a lesser man, but Heisuke seemed unfazed. It was never clearer how different these men were.
Chizuru, everything you just heard is something you are never to repeat. I'm sure you're curious, but we can't tell you anything else, so don't ask. And forget what you just heard from Heisuke.
His voice was friendly, but his eyes gave his words weight that made me feel uncomfortable.
The furies that Heisuke spoke about are meant to be pitied.
We're not supposed to be talking about this! Okita's voice was flat, emotionless. A sudden chill of melancholy entered his eyes. I couldn't bring myself to say anything more. Thankfully, Nagakura broke the awkward silence.
It's nothing you need to worry yourself about. You don't have to get all worked up.
I was only a guest in their house, not a warrior of the Shinsengumi. The truth of the Shinsengumi secrets were no business of mine, something I'd known. There was little value in that sentiment, however.
Put it from your mind. Involving yourself in our affairs will only put you in greater danger.
I bit my lip and kept silent. The wall between us was almost tangible, almost far too large an obstacle for me to defeat easily. I finished my dinner in sad silence, excused myself, and returned to my room. I had a great deal to think about. Furies, huh? I wondered to myself if the furies referred to were Rakshasa pictured in Buddhist texts. Though I wasn't well versed, I recalled reading a text about a man-eating demon god with that name. I have no idea where to start, from drinking the medicine to Captain becoming a fury. Don't think about it! They said to forget about it! Grrr. No, I wasn't supposed to think about these things. Yeah, but when they say not to think about it, you can't help but think about it. I was only going to get myself in trouble if I stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Seeing or hearing the wrong thing could kill me. If I die, I'll have a hard time looking for my father. That's for sure. It's hard to do anything when you're dead. The Shinsengumi captains are keeping themselves hush around me, especially about the Furies. Are they doing it to protect me? Even if I dug around, I'm sure nothing good would come of it. With that in mind, I did my best to clear my head of the evening's events and slipped into my futon. March, 1864. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, now I feel like I gotta go back through my old videos and see, because I feel like a lot has been, I think things have been cut down quite a bit. Or at least that's the impression I'm getting. Well, yeah, like I said, I gotta go back and look now. March, 1864. It fast approached a month since I'd been living within the Shinsengumi headquarters. Hijikata and Sanin finally returned to the compound from their trip to Osaka, but spirits were low. Sanin's injury had unforeseen consequences for everyone in the organization. Day-to-day operations became hectic for a little while. His wounds seemed quite dire, and they drained whatever goodness in his nature he'd hoped to keep. Sanin would spend days holed up in his room, protected by a barrier of impenetrable silence. If he were to leave his room, a rare occasion now, he was often short-tempered and quickly retreated. Oh. Even though I, too, spent my days in exile in my room, he seemed to take it much differently. Sanin seemed trapped within a painful memory, each day bringing him closer to a gloomy twilight. I softly pondered what service I could offer to the Shinsengumi if I were not allowed to search for my father. I'm sure Hijikata is overwhelmed with whatever business he's dealing with, but I need to visit him. I realize with the tension so high that it's better to have Hijikata on my side rather than not. I crept around the hall looking for Hijikata, but he was nowhere to be seen. Would it be impolite to visit his room directly? I would think so, a woman visiting a man's room. As I paced around the hall in contemplation, an unknown warrior appeared before me. Ah, something new! This is one of our new guys. Yeah, I get to mark this as one of the first videos with new content. I've been living in the Yagi residence for a month, but he was unfamiliar to me. My current dilemma compelled me to approach him. Excuse me, have you seen Hijikata? The man turned to respond, and my eyes widened to scan an enormous frame before he spoke. Yeah, you're about as tall as Harada, aren't you?
And who might you be? Mind telling me what you're doing here?
Oh, I am... Well, it's a long story.
Don't make me repeat myself. Answer me.
I'm Chizuru Yukimura.
Ah, I recall hearing the commander recruited you, a young apprentice, as his new page. Must be you.
Yes. I wasn't aware they were telling people I was an apprentice warrior at headquarters. However, my reputation was the last thing on my mind as I faced this man's pressuring gaze. I didn't appreciate the harsh scrutiny he seemed to impose, scanning me from head to toe.
So why don't you start telling me about how you know the chief and commander? I hear you're from Edo, but what kind of tricks do you have up your sleeve to slide in here?
I did no such thing.
But judging by how defensive you've become, it sounds like I'm right on target. Look, this isn't the place where someone without any worth on the battlefield or in the strategy room can waltz in without earning it. I'm going to ask you one more time. How did you get in with the chief and commander? I, Kanryusai Takeda, am asking you a question. What makes you think you can just ignore me?
He grew increasingly agitated, almost like a petulant child because I refused to answer him. He reached his massive hand over toward me, as if to grab me, but then a voice stopped him.
Hey, Takeda, what the hell are you doing here?
When he recognized Hijikata's voice, he snapped his hand back to his side.
Well, Commander Hijikata. I'm here on business with Chief Kondo. That's so. I've heard nothing about it. He called me on special orders to assist him while Colonel Sanin is out of commission. However, as it appears Chief Kondo is nowhere to be seen, so I will be on my way.
Takeda turned to take his leave, but then he slowed his step, leaving us with a few words.
As a side note, Commander Hijikata, are the rumors true that you've welcomed this young blood as your page? Yes, but it's none of your concern to know more. Forgive me. I'll refrain from pressing for details, as it seems to be out of my jurisdiction. I do, however, question your predisposition toward keeping those from your birthplace close to you. It seems I forget myself. Please excuse me.
Once Takeda exited the hall, I couldn't help but feel a rush of relief.
Hey, Yukimura, don't be walking around the headquarters without permission.
Well, if someone would come visit me once in a while, I could have had an escort. Yes, sir. I didn't mean to cause trouble.
Your presence here is not common knowledge, and only those staying at the Yagi residence know. Be mindful of anyone who visits the Maikawa residence. Is that clear?
Clear. I promise to be more careful going forward. So, may I ask you who that man was?
That man is the captain of the 5th Division. His name is Kanryusai Takeda. His swordsmanship is decent, but he is well read and possesses a cunning mind for military science. He's a tricky one, so be careful.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Okay.
Furthermore, if you have no business being out, then I expect you to stay put in your room.
But I did have business. Hijikata attempted to dismiss me, having said what he felt was appropriate as a stern commander. I have to quietly return to my room, fine. Understood. Although I was able to finally see Hijikata, I didn't want to walk around and cause trouble. So, just as Hijikata ordered, I decided to return to my room. Who wants to clean anyway? June 1864. June 1864, again. The 4th year of the Bunkyu era became the Ganji Ganen, and the summer sweetly blossomed. Spring shed its blossoming skin, giving birth to lush green trees facing the wide open sky. During one of these beautiful summer days, I finished cleaning after everyone ate breakfast, and Saito brought me to the hall to Hijikata.
Commander, it's Saito. I bought Yukimura. Come in.
Saito responded by quietly opening the sliding doors and gesturing me to enter the room. Upon entering, I saw Hijikata, but also Okita, Nagakura, Harada, and Heisuke in the hall. It appeared that only the captains who were aware of my situation were present.
I know you've been waiting some time, but the time has finally come to let you out.
Really? I could barely contain the excitement in my voice as soon as the words came out of his mouth. So is it true there was a man in Fushimi that matched my father's profile?
We're not sure if that's true or not. It was our intention to let you verify for us, considering his daughter would recognize him best.
I nodded in response. For now, any information pertaining to my father was appreciated, so I was thankful. So, where is this man who supposedly looks like my father?
Our initial reports outline a place called Terada Inn in Fushimi. Saito is assigned to check.
Saito is assigned? I wasn't sure if that meant I was to accompany Saito, or if I would have to wait longer for him. Then Harada chimed in.
But this doesn't necessarily mean Kodo is a guest of this inn. Yeah, being sighted in Fushimi could just mean he was walking around the city of Kyoto. Exactly. So, that's why I'm asking the three of you, Harada, Shinpachi, and Heisuke, to take her along on your rounds to assist her search for Kodo.
All of us? Usually we split up and go around separately.
Hijikata didn't bother entertaining a response, instead looking towards me. Was he suggesting... These were the men who were responsible for dealing with me should I attempt to flee. Heisuke must have sensed this as well, so he made no attempt to push the issue any further.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't like the fact that you're making us do all the babysitting. I thought you planned on patrolling as well, Hijikata. So, for your own benefit, why don't you show your adorable page here the ropes by having her with you? What the hell are you talking about? Aren't you the one who pushed her onto me? I'm not having any of her insolence today. She isn't my page.
And how could I search for my father if I was his page anyway?
Maybe, but all the lower-ranking men are starting to believe it. There is, after all, a grain of truth in every lie. So why don't you give her a befitting job?
As Okita and Hijikata bicker at one another, the mood of the room was locked in their tense words until Harada whispered to me.
Well, Kyoto as you've seen it isn't the safest place right now, so don't force yourself to leave. I mean, we all know what Kodo looks like too, so the risk doesn't have to be yours alone.
I could look for my father in Fushimi, or join the patrol rounds, assuming he's moved places, or stay here to keep safe from the outside, or accompany Hijikata as his page. Okay, here's the thing. The translation doesn't translate well. It translates to have an answering machine. Okay, a different site translated as in-house sitting, so I guess that means stay behind in the headquarters. So that's what I shall do. I hope that's right. Although my goal was to discover the whereabouts of my father, I wasn't completely sure I was welcome to join the expedition, nor was safety assured. I appreciate your gesture, but I think I should stay behind today.
Huh? Why? You're finally getting the chance to search for Kodo.
Yeah, but Sanen's here and I want to snuggle up with him. True, but I have to understand my place here, and it's not sure he's there. More chances will come.
Well, if you say so. It seems like your mind is made up and there's no convincing you, but the choice is yours.
Yeah, realistically, I probably should have gone if I wanted to find my father. Afterwards, the men deliberated before splitting off into their directives, and I returned to my room. Perhaps I should have gone. Maybe it would have been better for me to take the risk and learn something, anything. It felt like an icy dagger was pressing into my chest, piercing my thin flesh with a cold blade.
Are you regretting it? If you are, then you should have just gone with them.
Well, it's too late now, ain't it? Okita. I'm not regretting it. I was so ashamed, I couldn't bear to look into his eyes, but he smiled wryly before continuing while touching my chin.
Oh, really? You don't regret it at all? Not even if you knew that Hajime and I went out of our way to convince Hijikata?
Oh, now I do feel really, really bad. What? His revelation nearly took the air from my lungs. That was the last thing I expected him to say. Did I really waste their kind efforts throwing away their promise to get me out? I'm so sorry. You two worked so hard to convince him and I...
Well, it was actually Hajime that convinced Hijikata. I just stood behind him and nodded lightly.
That makes sense. Even so, I'm sorry. When I see Saito later, I need to apologize and give him my thanks. I can't believe I didn't realize from the start. I feel like I let them down. Should there be another opportunity, please give me another chance to join you. Okita hesitated a minute before responding, his green eyes focusing deeply into me.
You may be able to accompany us, but you better keep that kodachi sheathed. We don't need any recklessness to hold us back. If there's any sign of you becoming an issue, I will not hesitate to put my blade through you.
Oh, I love you too. I understand. I nodded in a plaintive manner. Okita said nothing else as he turned his back to me to exit toward the inner court. And I think that's where we'll stop for today. Yeah, good stopping point because it's Chapter 2, which is July 1864. So yeah, in the next video we'll start off with Chapter 2 there. Phew. Hope to see you in the next video or some of my other ones, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.